Hey, it's Carrie here, and I've had a really interesting week talking about sleep. Who'd have thought? It's come up a few times. It's come up in the treatment room, and it's come up just talking to people via the kind of the mentoring work that I'm doing. And I think it's really important to us all, and I'm really surprised how far away from good sleep a lot of us have gone. And I think that, and this is kind of one of those things where if you were born after 1999, you're going to have a very different view of the world than if you were born before, just because of the way that our technology has changed our world. And I think that we have become so connected to our connectivity to our laptops and to our mobiles and our tablets and everything. We don't realise how much of a difference that's making to our bodies. So prior to technology, of course, we would have, we're talking pre-industrial revolution, we would have risen at dawn and gone to sleep at dusk. And then we got electricity, which meant that we could stay up later, and it made sense to stay up later. And then we got technology, which meant that our worlds were taken up with new types of light. So I was watching a really cool program the other day by Brian Cox, that's his name. I was like, I've forgotten the professor's name. So Brian Cox was talking about light, and he was talking about why the sky is blue. So basically all light is white, but it's the particles in our atmosphere which cause the light to kind of bounce and shatter. And when it bounces, it depends upon the wavelength of the light. So blue has a really short wavelength. It's really easy to scatter blue light. So of course white light is all of the colours of the rainbow, which somehow then becomes white. But blue light is really easily scattered. So because of the amount of dust in our atmosphere, it scatters the beams, and so we perceive the blue light more clearly. But as we move through the day and the sun drops, and also at the beginning of the day as the sun rises, so the sun is further away from our field of view, the red and orange light waves are much slower and they are much more difficult to shatter. So what we then get is we get the red sky at night and the red sky in the morning. Anyone who's lived near a forest fire or has seen a lot of smoke in the horizon will understand how that changes. That there's always a friend of mine lived. She lives towards Barnsley, and she used to look out where she lived. Looked out over the coal mines. And so there was a lot of coal dust in the air, and over the foundries as well. And she said that the sunsets and the sunrises always used to be amazing because of the amount of particle matter, and that would slow down these beams of light so that there was always an orangeness or a redness to the sky. So our circadian rhythm, so that's the part of our body which is to do with sleep and rest, is it's kept in check by the light waves that we see. So it's either kind of woken up with the blue light waves, or it's kind of put into a resting place with those red light waves, which is why daylight is so important, why getting outside and being in the light is so important. But as we spend more time inside and as we use technology more, we're using more blue light rays. So television screens, especially LED television screens rather than older television types, laptops, tablets, your phone, they all emit a lot of blue light. So your brain is constantly be stimulating by the blue light. So your brain is constantly thinking that it is the middle of the day. It thinks the sun is at its zenith, and it thinks that it's this perpetual daylight. So it interrupts your circadian rhythm, which means that your brain doesn't remember when you should be resting and how you should be going to sleep. A really simple thing you can do is apply a filter onto your phone, onto your tablet. I think that there are apps that you can download from your laptop. Now, if like me, use Apple devices, it's really super simple. So here is my iPad. So if you, see if I can balance it. If you flick the screen up, cool, and it gives you, if you can see there, it gives you all of the different settings, and you can press that sunshine. So there's a bar, there's like a volume bar, and then there's a brightness bar. If you press the sunshine, it comes up with the thing that says night shift at the bottom. Can you see that? If I bring it in, night shift, and if you press night shift, then it makes the screen more orange. It's quite hard to see because it's quite bright in here. So the oranginess of the screen helps your brain go into its natural circadian rhythm. So it helps your brain adjust. Now, some people would argue that you need your orange filter, and I'm pretty sure that with Android phones, Samsungs and all of those things, that you can also set a filter, and if you can't, you can definitely download an app. But the orange filter allows your brain to go into a calmer place. There is talk in these modern times of, we used to call it a bedtime routine. It's now called sleep hygiene, whatever. But sleep hygiene is bedtime routine, sleep hygiene, whatever you want to call it. It's like super, super important. If we don't allow ourselves to relax, if we don't kind of separate ourselves from our devices early enough, like I was saying with the blue light, we're like ding, 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 you know, we're in that heightened place. So setting your technology to orange filter, so it's a calmer light for your brain, that's great. Turning off your devices you know, like an hour before you go to sleep, that's great, that's brilliant stuff. Even really simple things like keeping your phone out of your room. I find, and I think quite a few people find, that we are now so, I'm going to use the word addicted. We are so addicted to the ping of our phones, and I totally hold up my hand. I think that I have got myself into a place where, and I keep myself out of it, but I have to remember to keep myself out of it. I've got myself into such a place where the requirement to be in connection, to see what's going on Facebook, to see what's going on Instagram, to like, and it, you know, and it gets to that ridiculous place where it's even like to see whether your post has been liked or responded to, or all of that stuff. It's feeding a dopamine response in your brain, which is basically an addiction response. It sets off that little yay happy signal in your brain. So when you get somebody liking your post, you get yay. It's the way we're wired up. It's because it's about the feelings that we feel, which means that you feel happiness when your post has been validated. You feel validated anyway. And it's about the excitement, or, you know, those posts which make you pissed off or angry or upset. All of those things are emotional. Social media is based on emotional landscape, which is your old bit of your brain. It's your limbic system. So if your limbic system is being stimulated, no amount of ration or reason or logic will be able to overcome that. You'll still feel the feeling, the pull, the tug, which pulls you into wanting to check your phone. So if you have your phone with you in the middle of the night, if it's not the first thing that you're checking first thing in the morning, it's probably also the thing that you're reaching for if you can't sleep. So it's about taking the phone out of the situation, taking the tablets out of your bedroom. It's about switching off Wi-Fi. It's that amazing thing that we can't see electricity, it's there. We can't see Wi-Fi, but it's there. Do we need that stimulation all the time? Would we sleep better if we didn't have that stimulation? Would we sleep better if our phone wasn't right next to us, if it was out of the room or downstairs or down the hallway? And I think they're really interesting things for us to think about, especially, as I said before, if you're born after 1998, 99, if you're one of these millennial kids, you kind of don't know a life without technology. You know, like old buggers like me in their 40s. We didn't have this shit when we were in our 20s. You know, we haven't got it as enmeshed in our lives. And I think that that's probably why it's now become sleep hygiene instead of just a bedtime routine, because technology is part of the bedtime routine for a lot of people now. And I think that we need that separation. And why that separation is so important is because our brain needs the downtime. It needs to be able to feel into those natural rhythms, the circadian rhythms, getting out into the daylight as well first thing in the morning and allowing that light to hit your eyes. It stimulates the retina at the back of your eyes, which again is allowing that circadian rhythm to reset. When we spend so much of our lives inside, when we spend so much of our lives staring at a bright screen, it's really easy to unregulate our body. And for all of us, sleep is one of the most important things you can give your body. That nourishment of rest, which allows your body to process the events of the day, and it allows your body to start to sort out those processes of healing, and it just allows your body to go and settle into that calmer place. It affects all your brain waves as well, doesn't it? You know, it's like you need sleep to fall into a delta and a theta brainwave, which is where all that processing, where all that healing stuff really kind of takes place. So, wrapping it all up, this is why healthy relationships with your technology are so important. It's an act of self-care, it's an act of self-love. If you want to increase your creativity, you need to be able to rest. If you want your body to heal, you need to be able to rest. And so for all of those reasons, we need to start thinking again about taking technology out of our lives at certain points of our day. And if we do need technology in our lives, if you know the evening is the only time you can work on this thing or do that thing, if you tend to watch TV or films on an LED screen, it's about learning how to manage the relationship we have. Cool. So if anyone has any questions, come drop them in the comments, and I will come back and answer them at some point later today. All right, my loves, take care. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will catch you soon. Bye.